my joy. She took my reason for living. She took my small baby boy. Oh, well,
Hello. Hello, this is Latoya Walker, and I am your host of the African Portal. And today I have a special guest. I say he's special because he's here most of the time with me. I'm not gonna say special, but I'm not gonna. We don't even want to call him a guest anymore. I
Yeah.
have Delbert with me today because a guest is when it's your first time or second, but he's been here with me a lot. So I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself again. Velvet, can you jump in and just introduce yourself for the ones that um have not been able to hasn't got a chance to meet you yet?
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, wherever you find yourself across the world. My name is Valbert Bryan, and I am a motivational speaker. I have been mentored and coached by John Tellerica, Les Brown, Bob Proctor, who is some of the greatest human beings ever walked the planet in this time and this era and with what they do. And we're just
Right.
here to share and to help you to become the better version or to find yourself or to just to suspend that disbelief that you might have for the longest time and to bring your true self alive. So welcome to each and everyone again. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Okay, we're gonna do a short show today because I know it's kind of late in Nigeria. So if you guys can
Oh.
just give us I'm sorry, Nigeria and South Africa. So they are actually 6 or 7 hours ahead. So we're gonna
Mm.
do it short, but we're gonna fill you in. We're gonna fill you up with much as we can. So
Yes.
I actually want to talk today with you guys. I'm gonna start off and then I'll let Velvet speak. I wanted to talk about being patient. Just patience and just doing what's right. And I want to pretty much talk to you guys about when you're waiting, when you're being patient and waiting on God, you have to just wait. This isn't God. He's not a microwave God where, within 30 he'll just give you
Right.
what you need. I actually spoke about this on another platform, but I wanted to speak about this on this platform. God had been dropping it in my spirit to speak on it on this platform because I know it's like that we're all in a rush. We're all in a rush and people are willing to do anything just to have money or just to have be in a relationship or just anything that they think that's going to get them ahead or make them more happier. They are willing to take the price to do something that they shouldn't do. Like, you have to just wait. And I'm gonna give you guys an example. I was actually catching an Uber. I was out of town and I was catching an Uber. For the ones that I don't know if you guys know what Ubers are. It's like it's something like a taxi. So while I was waiting, I picked the Uber and it was like $25. It was $25. And I was getting so impatient because the one that I chose, it was like basically like you wait an extra 5 minutes for the lesser
Mm.
amount, but it's gonna get you there, but you would have to wait just a little bit longer versus you picking the standard one, just a regular one, and you have somebody there within 5 minutes. So I got impatient and I got out of it after I had waited like 15 minutes. I was like, let me get out because it's not moving, it's not doing nothing. Let me try it again. So when I tried again, I went back in and I picked it and it was $60 that time. So if I had just stayed and just waited,
On waited.
I would have been there faster and I would have saved money. So by me being so impatient and going back in and choosing what I thought was going to get me there ahead
Mm,
of time, it was longer and it was more money. So that's basically I want to talk to you guys about being impatient, and that goes for relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to wait on God because sometimes God can be preparing us for our husband or our wife, and we're not ready yet. So we'll go jump in a relationship with a psychopath, and then you wonder why he's crazy because you didn't allow God to choose for you. You went over him. You went around. So we got to stop going around. We got to stop trying to take the microwave way of life. We got to stop trying to um make it go faster than what it is. And
of course.
I'm gonna just say this, like, you in traffic and you trying to go around, you trying to just stay in your lane and allow God to direct your path. That's all you have to do. And it's somebody that may be listening. You're gonna take away that God directed you not to take, and it's not going to be good. You're going to have to start over. If you don't do it
Mm,
the way that God wants you to do it, you're going to have to start over. And that goes for relationships. How many of you guys had started over in a relationship? You jumped in a marriage, you went to a job that you shouldn't have went to, and you had to go look for another job because you were just so anxious to have that void, to have something. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about.
mm.
Waiting. It's okay to wait. It's okay to be bored. You know how many times every successful person I talked to, they were bored. It wasn't they
At
were
some point.
bored at some point they were bored in their waiting season. They may have fun now, but you have to be patient. You have to be patient. I don't even know what most people are in a rush for. Like, what are you in a rush for? What do
Mm,
you? Is it a? What's is it a prize? Is it a first place, second? I don't know what you're in a rush for. Don't be in a rush. It took me. My book was actually finished today, and it took me quite a while. But you know what? I'm glad we did it at a slow pace and we didn't rush it because this is something that's gonna be out in the world, and I don't want it to be just. It has my name on it, so I want to make sure that it's represented really well because when I leave this earth, it's still going to be here. So you don't want to rush. You don't want to rush this. So I just want to
yeah.
talk to somebody that's
Mm,
is do not rush it. Don't rush it. And you can have the four, Velbert.
yes. Yes. It's funny that you say that. When you look about patient, yeah,
Mhm.
and waiting on God, I heard somebody said it like this one time. Sometimes people says that they're waiting on God, but really God is waiting on them because
Right.
there's always a part that you have to play. And
Right.
until you play your part, then he will not. And while we have to strike a balance between waiting, yeah, not to wait too long, and at the same time not to jump too quick. Because if you look at a seed, when a seed is has been planted into the earth, there is a germination period. You can't do anything about that germination period. The only thing you can do maybe water and fertilize it, but the earth has to do what it needs to do, and that's a process. So while we're waiting, there is something that we need to do. It's not that we're impatient. Sometimes we choose to take the shortcut, and shortcut was said to bring blood, while the long way is a process. And when you go through the process and the different stages, then you will be equipped enough to deal with whatever the end result of that product is. Unlike for the person who jump loops and just to hasten to whatever. And as you rightly says, success, whatever
Mhm.
your dreams, your goal, your aspiration is, then a process has to be involved. And you have to be willing to put in the work, the time, the effort until it comes to
Right.
maturity. And
That's
then
right.
you can reap the fruit or the
Mhm.
fruits of your labor. Yes. So be patient.
That's right. Like
Yep.
you have to be really patient. You have because let me tell you something else, guys. You know how you're racing? Like you're racing. It's six of you guys. It's like when you're in the Olympics and you're racing. If you looking over at somebody else's lane, what do you do? Like normally when you're racing, when you look at somebody else, you slow down. Your speed slows down.
Mm,
Most people I know, they don't if they look at somebody else, you can't help but to slow down because you're looking. So you have to stop looking at what other people are doing and stop looking at other people's success and know that there was a path with that. It didn't
mm,
happen overnight. You know that people are looking at the finish of the race and they ain't looking at the beginning. They not looking at the
yeah.
beginning. And you have to look at the beginning. You have to stay in your own lane, stay your own race, and you don't have to it can just be like life is so beautiful. You guys just like life is so beautiful because the minute when you discover who you are and you discover what you want to do, you don't even really have time for any foolishness. You don't have time
Mm,
to party. You don't have time to do this or do because you're focused on your purpose and what God set you to do. So stay in your lane, look in your lane, don't try to get ahead of anybody. Don't focus on trying to beat the next person because that's the problem. People are more focused on trying to win the race against someone else when it's just a lane. Everybody has their
yes.
own path, and
Yeah.
anybody can win. Everybody can win. Is
And
everybody is racing for a win?
yes. And of course, again, not only do you slow down when you're paying attention to others, but you lose focus
You lose
because
focus.
you cannot truly focus on multiple things to your full capacity when you're giving somebody else your attention, especially
Right.
when speed is critical and every minute counts. Yeah. So you want to be mindful that whatever the thing is, and when it comes to relationship, that's a interesting one because sometimes that is where we make the biggest mistakes because the process, we skip the loops. We just want to hurry the process. We want to get that person, that female, that man, whatever that person is, and sometimes we saw the signs and we overlook them,
Right.
even though even though they are blatantly in our face. But because we want what we think we want at that time, we overlook these things, and sometimes, most times, you
Mhm.
end up paying the price, which is not a nice one. So
Right.
you might want to take the time, put in the work, put in the effort. If it is a research that you need to get done, maybe a process, to do a background check, whatever it takes to have the facts. And I can also advise you, don't base your facts on opinion, but
That's right.
base your opinion upon facts. If you do it the other way, then you're going to be in trouble. And relationship, and it brings me, I reminded of a story. Well, this is a true story. This happened to me. Long time ago, I was dating this girl, and I don't remember what she did, but she did something, and I decided, no, this ain't working out. So I quit. And you know what happened? Life is interesting. She somehow befriend me again, start about the relationship, only to left me 3 weeks later because she wanted to have the last say, and I'm saying, oh my God, I know this wasn't working out, and I left. Why did I ever let she talk me back into it? And then she turned around.
Right. And
I
that,
tell her,
that's the,
life is
that's
interesting.
why that's why it's important not to go to past relationships. Like if it's if
Yeah,
it's if
most of
it's
the time.
done, it's I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 98% of the time. Well, at least I don't have one that I would want to go back to. You it's different.
You know, I tell you a story. I tell you another story. My mentor was telling me one time ago that some point in his life, um, either he broke up with the female or the girl left him, whichever way. So he was in his house and he was crying and he was looking in the mirror and he was saying that this is not me. This is, he just can't believe what transpired, what happened, how did things end up here. And then his best friend was in the house also, and he overhear him saying that this is not me. So he walked into the room and asked him, if it's not you, then who is it? You know? So he said, get out, leave me alone. Yeah, sometimes we find ourselves in situation that you're saying, this is not me. How do I get here? What
Oh
happened?
no. Yeah,
You
cuz
never you
people
never saw this one
pe-
coming.
people can they can decrease you or they can make you go up. And if you was in any
Yeah.
type of relationship and your value went down,
Oh boy.
you need to not even think about going in that relationship again. Too much is not gonna. I don't think there's nothing that's these people I don't know, but me speaking for
Mm.
me, I wouldn't backtrack myself like that. That would just
And
probably be like,
also the biggest mistake that we all make at times, thinking that we can change people.
oh,
Oh
we
my God.
can't do that. We
No.
can't do this. No.
There's this famous quote that I love, and it says that a person who is convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. So you're wasting your time. When somebody is stuck in their ways until they decided they need help, I'm telling you, leave them alone. You know, just wish them the best, and if it means that you need to move on, so be it, because you'll do yourself a favor in the long run, and you will be glad you did.
You would
Anyway.
do yourself a huge favor. Sometimes people cry over relationships. And if you can fast forward 5 years from now and just to see where you gonna be and then just to see where those people gonna be, you're gonna be like, thank you, Lord, for saving
Thank,
me.
thank you,
Thank you,
Lord.
Jesus, because I know I can jump up and down on.
And some persons are dying together rather than living
Yes, then
together.
growing.
Yeah,
Then
and
growing.
I tell you, your parents. There's something about your parents. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of the knowledge, the experience. I remember one time I was dating this girl, and my father has this, maybe this sixth sense, as maybe you call it. when he, when
Right.
he uh, when he just come out of the blue and it instruct you about a particular thing, you better watch out. Something is about to happen, and if you ignore, so this particular girl, my dad told me, hey, is I didn't understand what he meant. All he says was this: I am not going to follow you going to court. And I said, what the hell? What does that? I don't understand that. I don't know what that means. Who's talking about anything about court? This is a nice girl I'm dating. 10 years later, I'm right in front, judge. It took me 10 years to figure out what that meant. I could not have seen what he saw, but 10 years later, I found out exactly what it meant. And trust me, I regret it.
Right. And
I did.
a lot of times people just need to like just focus on yourself, like getting you together. Because so many times people are focused on like a relationship, a husband or wife, and it's okay to be alone to get yourself together. So, because it's stuff that we have to work on internally ourselves. It was some stuff that I had to work on myself.
Mm.
However, when I will allow God to do the picking this time because um the last relationships I was in, I did the picking and I think I picked off of a tree
The wrong tree.
tree.
I guess it's I think Elvis Presley said it best in one of his songs that wise men say only fool rushing, but he can't
All the
help.
food rushing.
He can't help. He knows somewhere along the line somebody told him, "Hey, this is not a good idea. Take time. You
Take
know,
time.
go through the process." But he figured that we figure that we are so smart, and it's just like in business. We look at the numbers. The numbers does not add up, but we continue to do the same thing
We
and going in
continue.
the same path. Yeah, Einstein says
Yeah.
insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but yet
Yeah.
expecting a different result. And we fool ourselves a lot of the time where, yeah, we see the signs, we saw the numbers. This just cannot work out. But for some reason, you tell yourself that the impossible is going to happen, and you are the only exception to the rule. And boy,
Right, right, right,
what a
right,
what a
right.
mistake that was. Mm.
Yeah, so
So
I am, I just had to say, I'm excited. Even when, I experienced the bad, I know it's something better that's coming. So, um, guys, don't be, you have to just be patient. You just have to be patient that's with jobs, that's with relationships, that's with business, that's with contracts. Be patient. I was listening to Master P, and he said that, I forgot which, um, I forgot which company offered him a deal, but it was like $1 million deal. Um, and he said no. He said his brother was so upset with him, like they argued the whole time when they was on their way back home. Because the brother
mm,
was saying, "Why didn't you take the $1 million?" He said, "No, no, no, no. I'm gonna be patient because if they'll give me one, they'll give me 10." And he said he
mm,
waited. He said he waited. And he said they called back and said, "Okay, we'll give you 10." So if he had not been patient,
yeah, yeah,
then he would not have got what he deserved. Because he's a good artist. He runs a multi-million-dollar business. So that's just that's just business wise. You don't rush into anything. Everything that sounds good don't ain't good. Like
yeah,
I myself made a bad business move like a couple days ago. If I had waited on my partner, then I know it would have been different. But I was moving without him. So we have to um just be patient. Just be patient in what we're doing. Business, relationships, we have to just be patient. Just we have to
yes,
wait on God. Yeah.
and and put in the work. Information is at our fingertips. So if it is a business um, venture that you're seeking out or you're about to be a part of, do your research. Information, you can find information wherever um, you want it to, and make sure that you have a good solid knowledge of whatsoever it is
Right,
that
right, right,
that
right.
that that you're going through. No, in contrast to relationships, take time to get to know the person. Dig deep. You'll gather information from friends, relative. All these things, it add up so you can make a intelligent decision. Not that you're gonna know everything, but at least you would have known enough so you could come to that conclusion. Is this something worth working on, or it is something that just needed to be walked away from? So that dream, that goal, just like what we're in now, dealing with the coronavirus, a lot of person lost their jobs, company went under. You might be working at a company or a career for 15, 20 years. Now that company no longer exists, and you're wondering
Right.
what is it you're gonna do. We are restricted in our movements, in our travel, everything. Yeah, and these things cause people to be impatient, and to some degree
Right.
that is
Right.
that is
Right.
that is understandable. But take your time. See how you can be creative. What other options you have. what other goal or dream that you know you people always tell you that you have a good hint for this. Maybe just work on it, do some research, start studying, create something new versus than versus looking at the past, and living in the past. Say, how
That's right.
you get to this place, that job that you love so much.
Mm,
Change is the only thing that is constant. So, learn to adapt, roll with the punches, and move forward toward
right.
that goal,
Right.
that that dream, because we're living in an ever-changing world,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot stand still while living in a world that moves at this fast pace, especially now with technology and with all the different invention. Since even this corona comes up, people now mass. You know, the other day I was going to some business place, and your mask become like your money now. If you forget your mask, you can't enter.
You're
You know,
right.
yeah. Up until about a year and a half ago, we only use masks for dealing with garbage or certain areas. Now it's like a currency. Anywhere you're going, pretty much someplace, it's required. So learn to adapt, because you can't do things the old way when you have a new model. It's either you're gonna get left behind, or you need to step up and be a part of the new present day, whatever it is for you, that dream, that goal, that career, whatever you want to pursue. Yeah, do some studies, research.
That is correct. I agree with you 100% with that. I actually was speaking to someone, and she lost her job in corporate America, and she was so upset,
Mm,
just going crazy. She worked at a dentist office, and during that time she actually did her research, and she started, I want to say she started to make masks, and she
mm.
made over like $1 million doing it. So when she was
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
she was complaining prior to her losing her job. However, when she started to um make the mask, it turned into a multi-million-dollar business. So you definitely have to know that it's something it's always a good and a bad.
Yeah,
When
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I say that all the time. When I lost my job, um, like back in 2017, the job that I found after that, the degree, well, that the certificate that I was able to obtain, the amount of money that I make monthly,
Mm,
well, the amount of money that I make a day, some people don't make it a week. Like what my checks,
yeah.
what my checks are a week, some people don't make it a month. Like just, and it
Mm,
was all, I had to go through a process with losing everything though to gain this and to gain the
oh,
knowledge. So I lost everything, and I'm, if I had to do it again, I'll do it again, because if I hadn't um lost everything, then I would have never found out about
yeah.
that job, which
I've,
caused me to be able to um get a certificate and make that amount of money daily.
yeah,
So,
and
mhm,
yeah, and the next thing about it is your perspective, how you look at things, and I
right.
think we should change that word from losing to being release, because
Lease.
yeah,
Yeah, that I like
yeah,
that.
because when you lose something, automatically you want to go look for it. Yeah,
Right. So, and I
but
don't ever want
yeah,
to look for that again, because
right,
everything,
but
yeah, and that's just what how God does, because everything we lose, a
yeah,
house, a marriage, I received a bigger blessing. And this,
yeah,
it
yeah,
ain't, and everything I tell you, this is something that I'm telling you from my own experience. I ain't never lost nothing and want it back today.
yeah, yeah,
Everything I lost, God done replaced it with something better. So if you lose
yeah,
it, trust me, just be patient.
yeah. So look at it from the perspective of you has been released from that job, so you can start your own company, like this lady, that's friend you're
Yeah.
talking about, start her own mass
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing company. Yeah, so yeah, she don't want to go back looking for that job. No, she has been
Right,
released
right.
to
Mm-hmm.
step in her greatness, and now she's doing something that she maybe never dreamed about or been dreaming
Never
about,
thought
but
about.
now,
Mm-mm.
it's reality. It shows you that you have to adapt, and life will throw you things that you have never saw coming. But
Okay. Right, right.
when that time comes, then You have to decide. It's either you can stay and wallow in the pity and saying, the past or life does this to me, or you can create the new version of yourself. You can
Right.
go, like in your case, go back to school, go study if you need to pursue a different career, a different course. Become a entrepreneur and do something for yourself. So yeah, it all depends how we look at it. Because if we can look at it from the perspective that we have been released, then it's a blessing in disguise. Yeah, for anyone
Right.
that
So
look at it
yeah.
from that perspective.
Right. So yeah, I
Yeah.
know it's kind of late in Nigeria and we started kind of late. So um we'll be back next week with more, but I hope this really helps someone that's out there that's looking at their situation thinking that they haven't got far enough in life. Look back where you were last year, look where you were yesterday. It's not always about material things or money or anything like that. Sometimes my growth is when I learn to love God more. When I open my eyes to God more, because
Mm,
I've always knew how to make money. So that wasn't growth to me. Growth was getting knowledge from God, knowing how to save my money, knowing what to do with my money, doing what's right, treating people right. So
mhm.
if you change anything internally, that's still growth. You still moving,
Yes, yes.
still
And
moving.
and the thing is, yes, I want to share something that you can hold onto. You can anchor your faith on this. Napoleon Hill says that in every adversity, there is a seed of opportunity, either
Mhm.
equal or far more greater than the adversity. And I will give you a practical example. For those of you who are familiar with the scriptures, there was a story about Joseph when his
Mm.
brothers sold him
Yep.
into slavery. Yeah. After being sold, he ended up being in prison because he was accused of almost trying to rape the governor's or the king wife at
Right.
that time for something he did not do. Now think about it. First, your brother sold you. Your brother, your blood brother,
Yeah.
sent to a different land. You have no family, no friend. And then you another situation. A woman accused you of trying to rape her. Now you find
Mhm.
yourself in prison. And still yet, Joseph did not blame himself for his
Right.
circumstances. But the end of that story was, I think it was like 10 to 20 years later, he became the governor
That's
of
right.
of that
That's
country.
right.
He
That's
was the
right.
second. He was the second in command to that king, and his
Right.
brother who sold him in slavery. They had a
Mm.
famine in their land, and they came to the current land that he was the governor, and
And he
he was the one who
was
saved their
good to
life.
him.
So
He
I'm
still
saying,
was good to him.
and he fed them, and he forgave them. It shows you that when things happen to you, look for the goodness, because what people meant for evil,
God gonna do it for good.
God intended for good, and that is your
Right.
blessing. That could very much be your blessing. So hold on to those words, because life is not fair, and don't expect it to be fair. Yeah, things
Right.
happen to good people. You're not the first,
Mhm.
and you won't be the last. But while we go through these everyday changes, you have to have something where you can hold on to give you that faith, something that is going to be a rod on your staff when things get tough, when people let you down, when that business partner, that relationship, that person who promised that, yeah, they will be by your side forever. When they change their mind, hey, look for the blessing. Ellen Keller, the blind lady, says, we spend so much time looking at the closed door, we miss the open one. And she
Oh,
also says life is either a daring opportunity and exciting, or it's a boring one. You choose. It's either you want to embrace it as a adventure, or you're gonna complain and says it's boring. Choice is yours. Yeah.
yes, guys. So we are going to wrap it up today. I really appreciate you guys coming on for joining us. We'll be back next week. And we'll have more. I'm gonna bring Velvet on with me because he has a lot in him and I just can't allow him to sit and not, you know. get what's in him out. So I don't mind by sharing my stage with him. That's my brother. So if you have any
Yeah.
questions, you need to reach anybody, please. We're on Facebook. I'm Latoya Walker and he's Velva Bryant. Stay focused on being humble. Yes, Marie, stay focused on being humble. And it's okay to be humble. It's okay to be humble. One of my coaches said today, he said the quiet, he said being quiet sometimes make the most noise. And when he said that, I was like, what?
Mm,
And now when
mm,
just stay quiet and be humble. Just stay quiet and be humble because God loves us when we're humble and we're quiet. So but I can't be quiet about this. My book was finished today. Like everything was
nah,
final.
wow.
So it's Slave on the Throne. I'm not gonna give it all away. I adopted a tribe in Africa because I don't actually know which tribe I'm from. So the
Mm,
book is based on a girl that she was kidnapped and sold into slavery, but she's actually a queen. So she's having her struggles in the United States, but she makes her way back to Africa. So when it's on the shelves, I will come back and let you guys know because you gotta read it.
yes.
You're gonna have to read it and it's gonna change your life because it's not just for women, it's for men too. So it's basically like
Mm,
um more of you're in slavery and then you're the whole time you don't even know that you're a king or a queen. Well, you are, but you have to fight, get back to your place. So but guys, we enjoyed you. We will see
mm,
you next weekend. Again, this is the African Portal where we embrace people, we love people, and we are done for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye bye.
mm. All right.